Hello, Reset Women. This is Lynanne, and I am the founder of Divine Reset. And this is our inspiration series. We meet every week. I have a guest on that will help inspire you and me, because I always learn a ton and I'm inspired. And so, with Divine Reset, our purpose is to help you to improve your relationships and improve your connection with your divinity, with God, your higher power, and to find peace. No matter if the house is burning down, no matter what trial, what has happened in your past, what you might be worried about, anything like that, that you will be able to find peace and find some tools so that you don't run your life on the things that give you the concern and the worry, that you can find peace. So I mentioned something about the past, and I personally have lived a little too much in the past and also a little too much in the future. And so our guest today is someone that I admire so much. She's going to talk about the importance of living in the present. And so today we have Julie Merrell. She's a good friend of mine. She is someone that I admire greatly, a mother of 7 children. She's got a fantastic family and 5 boys and 2 girls. So
Right.
that says something. And her husband is also, they are just a power couple with a lot of love to give the world. And I'm so honored that I have Julie here. And Julie, thank you so much. Please tell us a little bit more about you and what brought you to where you are now as a healer.
Thank you, Anna. That's so sweet of you. I am certified in 2 modalities as an energy healer. I'm certified in the emotion code and in the body code. And I'm also certified as a faith-based life coach. And I have my own clientele and my own business. It's called A Healthier Tomorrow Now. I've been doing energy work for a little over 10 years, but I've had my own business for just coming up on 3 years. And it has been such an amazing journey to be able to open myself up, to really be vulnerable and look and see where are my weaknesses? Where am I stuck? What can I do to be honest with myself and find something that can help me progress, something that can help me let go of the past, not live too much in the future, and find gratitude in today, in the present. And I love being able to do that personally, and I've learned how to do that. And I'm not perfect at it because I think we're always learning, we're always improving, we're always evolving. But I am much better at it than I was years ago. And I love helping my clients do that. Gratitude is so important when we talk about letting go of the past or not looking forward too much into the future. Gratitude, I find, is the key.
That's awesome. How would you describe your process in helping someone to use gratitude as a tool?
I love that. One of the things I talk about specifically when I'm working with some clients and they're having a hard time with, let's say they're having a hard time with grief or regret or sadness. Sometimes it goes even as far as depression, and a lot of times there's shame and guilt mixed in with that. Usually when I'm working with a client who is feeling these emotions, what they're doing is they're taking themselves back mentally to the past, and they're living more in the past than they are in the present. When we do that, we find a lot of regret. We can find sorrow. We can find sadness. And when we get stuck in those emotions, it can cause us to get to a place of depression. Usually there's shame and guilt involved in that also. So what I do is I ask them, first of all, they come to me because they want some help. So I usually ask them out loud so they can take dominion and possession over a choice. Do you want to live there? Are you ready to make a change? Are you ready to make a shift? And I find that is the first step. That's the most important step. I teach my clients, if you can speak it or if you can write it, no matter what the issue is, no matter what the thought is, no matter what the program is that you might be consciously aware of, you gain dominion over that. If you just feel it, or you try to stuff it down, or you try to ignore it, or you try to fight it on your own, it has power over you. But the minute you can speak it or write it, you gain dominion over it. So that's the first thing I ask them, to kind of consciously talk about where they think they are, where they think their problem, struggle, or pattern is, and then ask, are you ready to let it go? Are you ready to shift? And once they can verbally get that out or write that out, then I know they're ready to start taking some actions. The first thing I like to have them do is to take a deep breath. Now, breathing's really important. I know you're aware of this. I know that it physically can change what we're feeling. It can physically change what's happening with our heartbeat. It can physically change what's happening with our mind and where we're going. If we're numb and we've kind of shut ourselves off, it can open us up. If we're running too fast and we're hypervigilant and we're always in our thoughts, it can slow them down. So I have them do something which is called 4-step breathing, or 4 square breathing. And we'll just do this for a minute with me. You take a deep breath in and you count for 4. Hold for 4, and then exhale for 4 counts. Wait for 4 counts. Do it again. Inhale 4, hold it, exhale, and one more time. Wait for 4 counts. Inhale, now this brings us to a place of mindfulness. It allows our mind to quiet. It allows our heartbeat to slow down. And then once we do that, I ask them, what were you just feeling? And I get them to name it. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling grief. I was feeling insecure or vulnerable. I was feeling a lot of fear or anxiety. And those of us that find ourselves always living in the past usually will have some form of sadness or regret. Sometimes depression, like I talked about. Once we can name what we were feeling, I have them have this little mantra. I recognize in this moment, I am a student. Now, it's really important to go to a place of a student. We're no longer a victim. We're no longer just surviving and fighting through it. We put ourselves in a neutral spot as a student. And in that moment, I ask them to say, I am grateful that I am learning. And stay in that space of gratitude for 3 to 5 seconds. Just feeling grateful. I'm a student and I'm learning. I've stopped the cycle. I've taken a break. I've controlled myself. I've put myself in mindfulness, and I'm grateful. And once they can feel that gratitude for 3 to 5 seconds, then I ask them to have the rest of the mantra. I choose to feel. And then they get to choose. What is it? Do they want to choose gratitude? Do they want to choose to feel just mindfulness and balanced and stable? Do they want to feel joy? Do they want to feel clarity of thought? Do they want to have excitement? Do they want to have passion and have a drive to move forward? It really is their choice. And one of the reasons I love using this, and it can also work if we find ourselves constantly throwing our mind to the future and worrying and nervous and having anxiety or fear, it works just as well for that scenario. Once you do that 4 square breathing and get yourself to a place of calm and mindfulness and go through the mantra, I am grateful. I realize in this moment I am a student and I am grateful I'm learning. Now, I choose to feel. It literally breaks what we call neural pathway connections in your brain. It stops them. It breaks them. And instead of something happening automatically like a program does in a computer, you push a couple of buttons, program runs, it allows you to take control again of what's going on in your brain and those neural pathways and make a conscious choice. I want to feel something different. Don't want to feel anxiety. Don't want to feel fear. Don't want to feel grief or sadness or regret. don't want to be worried, don't want to feel nervous. I want to feel something different. And I think we forget how powerful we are as agents unto ourselves with just the ability to choose. Just to choose. I think we run on our programs, we run on our patterns, and we try to get through every day. And we end up having this reality of just getting through, or worst case scenario, being a victim and having things always being acting upon us. Mm-hmm. But when we can take a break, when we can get mindful, when we can go to a place of gratitude and then choose what do we want to feel next, we become creators. And that's what I try to teach my clients. You no longer need to be a victim. You no longer need to stay in a survival mode and constantly be surviving. You can move to a place of creation, and you can create what you want. It literally comes to choice. But it's good to know what to do to calm our mind down, calm our physical down, so that then at that point, we're free to make a choice and make it stick. Once we practice this over and over again, and I remember when I first started this on a personal note, I would do this mantra, I don't know, sometimes 2 or 3 times an hour. I would get triggered or pulled into an emotion, and I'd be like, oh, wow, I don't want to feel this. Before, it was just my norm. I would just feel stressed. I would just feel nervous. I would just have anxiety. I would just be in a place of regret or fear. And once I realized I was in control and I had a choice what I wanted to feel, then I would find myself get triggered, and I would stop, take those breaths, say the mantra, realize I was a student, be grateful that I was learning, and then make a choice what I wanted to feel. It was amazing how my life changed in that moment. Not only did I create a new pattern, but I created a new belief system. And that belief was, I'm powerful, I can create, and the power lies within me. I felt empowered. I no longer felt like my life was being led by some kind of unknown source acting upon me, but I felt like I was creating what I wanted in my life. In a sense, I got back in the driver's seat. I was no longer the passenger of my life. I was driving again.
Oh, Julie, thank you very much. I'm thinking about, I imagine that you come across people, and maybe our listeners, some of you might feel that verbalizing in a way where you have a choice could be really scary, because I think for many, it's been so natural to just live and just do the regular cycles and the regular patterns. And then all of a sudden you're realizing, okay, I'm not happy, or I'm unhealthy, or my relationships are suffering, and I need to do something. So they have to get to a point where they actually realize, of course, that, okay, I need to change. And so you see people that want that. And what would you say to someone that it would be really scary to verbalize that I have a choice? Because many people, I don't think they feel that they do, because I think they feel like a victim. They feel like this is just who I am. What would you say to them?
I love the name of your podcast, the name of your organization, Divine Reset. And the number one thing that I try to teach someone, as soon as we get to the space of I'm ready to shift, I'm ready to change, and I teach them about this mantra, the very, very next thing that is the number one, I think it would be I think I have 3 things that I like to focus on, and they go in sequence. The first one would be, who am I? What is my true identity? And once they realize there's a tool, people love to get tools. They'll read self-help books. They'll listen to webinars. They love to get tools. But if you don't realize that you're a carpenter, and that you know how to use those tools, and that you have a design destiny to use those tools, And that not only when you use them, that now you get to create something, you won't do it. So once I give someone a tool like this little mantra we talked about, then I love to teach them who they really are. And it is that they're divine. They are divine. Now, I'm a religious person and I believe in God. And so what I teach with my faith-based life coach, along with my energy work, is that we are children of a divine God. And in us lies his divinity. We are of infinite worth. If you put down the actual infinite sign and you think of that mathematical term of infinite, you do not take away from infinity and you do not add to infinity. It just is. It's infinite. The potential is unfathomable. We, because we are divine children of a God and have his divinity within us, have that infinite worth. That's hard for some people to grasp. Sometimes it's because they haven't learned yet, or they have blocks where they haven't learned how to truly love and accept themselves, their weaknesses, their mistakes, their talents and gifts. Sometimes they can even be scary. Once we understand that we literally are children of a divine God and his DNA, his divine DNA is in us, it allows us the chance to actually think about, what is my worth? Today, is it better than it was yesterday? Will it be better in a year from now? Or is it really infinite? And I just need to tap into that. And once I can get them, or at least invite them to think about that, then the next thing is I invite them to love and accept themselves today with all their flaws, with all their weaknesses, with all of their gifts and all of their talents, where they are on their progression. Love and accept it. Once you can get to that space, those tools become usable. They're not scary anymore. You have this feeling of, I want to try. I want to see if it works. I would love to get excited about creating and have that creation be sustainable and be able to use that ability to create, to have abundance in my life, create lasting and loving and renewing relationships, create abundance in a financial aspect, create health on a mental, emotional, and physical level. We forget we are stewardships of all of those things, and we can create. And the best way to do that is to love and accept ourselves for who we are today, connect with a divine being, I believe to be a heavenly Father, and then ask to have him co-create with us. He is waiting. He is excited. He wants us to have desires. He wants us to have dreams. He wants us to have these big hopes, and then invite him to be a part of that creation.
Oh, thank you. That is so well said, so perfectly said.
Thank you.
And I think of the beliefs, the limits that we've put on ourselves. And sometimes it's not even conscious. It just has happened because of this life journey that we're on. And our God has no limits for us. Mm-hmm. None at all. They're what we have put on ourselves, or what we've allowed other people to influence, that we've allowed to be put on ourselves. And a sure way to overcome that is living today, living in the present and in what you can do, and focus on that. And then of course, your choices are a lot easier to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Because today it's a lot easier to control today. Because I do have a choice today. I don't know what my choice is going to be next week.
And I love that you use the word control. So many people have the wrong attitude or control is either absolute, and that's where they find security, or control is scary and they don't want to have control. They just want to go with the flow. Control, if you substitute creation with control, it's a beautiful substitution. Today, I can create. Today, I have a choice. Today, I can choose to be in a space where I feel like I'm driving, or I can choose to fall back into old programs and be the passenger. It's your choice.
Yeah.
And either way, you have taken control. It's your choice. And when we choose to be in a place of gratitude, which allows us to feel the other emotions of high vibration, love, clarity, peace, hope, faith, it is so much easier for us to create what we're looking for, what we desire. And we'll want to do it with God at our side. And with Him as our co-creator, like you said, there are no limits.
Oh, and I love that. And as women, well, as all of God's children, but my mission is to help women at this time. And so the women that are listening, I hope that you know that you have so much power and your potential. What women can do and the influence that they have, not just in raising their children and bringing them up, just our divine makeup. We have so much to offer the world. And so our inspiration series is to help you to get to that place where you can love yourself, you can accept who you are, and then you will have so much power. And this message, Julie, thank you so much. You gave some wonderful tools, wonderful steps, the mantras, and just proclaiming out loud. Thank you so much. That is so important because you are putting it out there, and it can be scary. I want to challenge our listeners to please just try this. If it's scary, just try it, because I will tell you, I remember someone teaching me about gratitude. And even if something didn't go right, so for example, I was having trouble with my car. And I just said, thank you. Instead of getting mad, I was mad actually. And then I remembered, no, I'm going to try this because she taught me. So I started saying, thank you. I'm glad that I have you. I'm glad that you're the color that you are. I'm glad that you have comfortable seats. I'm glad that I can afford you. And I could physically feel a shift in my body.
Yes.
And it was so incredible. And that is the divinity that is in us. And we have to allow ourselves to just do some things that might be scary and uncomfortable because they're right.
And the payoff is worth it. The payoff is worth it.
We have no idea. We have no idea. So
and
we are out of time.
Many of us want to shift and want to progress. And sometimes that means we're doing something uncomfortable. But the payoff is worth it. And I'm here to tell you, women, and anyone else who's listening, you can do this. I believe in you. You are divine.
Yes. Thank you. And I'm your spiritual cheerleader. Divine Reset. We're going to cheer each other on.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. It's been an honor to have you, Julie. You're one of my favorite people. I learned so much. I admire you and your husband, your family. And
thank you.
Thank you. And we will see you next week on our next inspiration series. And please share this with your friends. Talk to you later.